Hi student. Today we will discuss about chapter A for architecture 110, the building process and architecture role. In this chapter, in the textbook, they will tell you about what can you do on the building, submit the process, what are you doing in when you do for design, and the role for architects, the people working on architecture major. I just want to mention with you that when we say architect, that means the licensed architect. The licensed architect is the people, they need to graduate from major from architecture bachelor degree. After that, they work 3 years experience and qualify to apply for the test, exam ARE. After they pass the test, they will have the name is licensed architects. So in this chapter, we will talk about the building process, what we need to do inside of the building, and the role for architecture. Before, they usually think architect and the builder is the same meaning, but it's different. Architect is the people can concept, the drawing, they draw, they have the contracts as form, and they do from A to Z from design. That's what architect. After industrial revolution, they changed for the building process. Right now we use a lot of the machine and many techniques to draw for architect and engineer, and the new building requirement for difficult, and anyone in person they can do many phase in building design and construction. MIT is the first school, they have architecture full program for architecture. MIT stands for Massachusetts Institute for Technology, and they have from 1868, and architecture was soon to learn, govern, and they do some of the and arts with legislation for the licensed architect. After that, they have the licensed architect. So in architect, we usually work in the project team that include with many consultants, for example, the civil engineer, structural engineer, mechanical and electrical engineer, landscape architect, interior architect, and the graphic designer, so on. So that's why the projects is the teamwork. We need to work on lighting, acoustics, security, building code, and plus more. So we work with the teamwork. And in the company, one project usually have many people work together. Architect is the artist and also a technologist. They have the people can design, they can create many artists, meaning, but they also use technology to do support for that projects. They need to use for the talent in the building with the beauty, stability, utility, sustainability, and after that cost effectiveness. So basically architect is the people, they run the projects from design until finish the construction, I mean A to Z. They have in the projects from A to Z. With the people architect major, they say we are or you are successful architect. That means the people working hard, creative in design, and work well with another consultant. They have the knowledge, they have the skill, and they have also social connection. That's the people on architecture. I think this one is one of the people, they very famous in architect. He's in US. His name is Frank Lloyd Wright, and he have many design, very famous. But the best one is the Fallen House. Is the one many people coming to visit and know him as the best. This is Frank Lloyd Wright. And if you look at the left picture, this is the medium form from the company. If you look at this, it's maybe around 100 people. This is the medium size for architecture office. If you had the large one, it's maybe more than 250 people. With the small one, can be few people only to work on inside from the building. How the projects get built? The first one, you need to make sure about the need and demand. The needs is the one you need to do for on of the purpose from design. Demand is some kind more than that, but something you cannot do. So basically you need to verify what is the need one and what is demand. For example, you say this project needs me to do for market demand, so they need to design follow the market. But if you have we need to design something like that for design need is some with the goal for design. They need to do from some kind like non-commercial or they have commercial, and they need to design for that one. So that's why we have two meaning, need and want. You want design something and you need design something. Need some kind like the basic you need to design for that one, but once a lot of people have a lot of many things they want inside from the design. The site is the one maybe envision before the site you choose a project can be started from that one. But if you have the site, you need to have the survey, you have to analyze, and you have the report from that one. Inside from that one, you need to tell about topography, about boundary, about the structure, the rule, utility, soil, seismic, any condition information about the site. So the site is the big one with a lot of concern in like this. Can you see that's for geometry and physical condition? That's the site one. This is one example from the site. You see that the site can be anywhere, but it's very big, and usually the first one is have governed by they from government. And if we have smaller units, it's in the county. So that's why the site belong to that. After that, you can buy, you can build, you can design, and after that, you pay for the government for the tax. This is another site. If you see some building, they have construction, but after that, they're not finished. And this one, when you buy the projects like that, you have many benefits for this one. The first one is you sure the utility they have already existing, so you just update that one. And the second one, you can save some time from construction. Something you can use again, something you need to demo. However, a lot of them from the slab, you can use that one. This is another site, and you can see in here is the residential, and it's a lot of house over there already. So this one maybe before they have some site for the rack or the track, something few, something like that, but now they have empty. So this is totally the site, because you can see that the street, and you can see the street or the freeway outside of that one. This is the site one, is so huge. And when you buy the land look like this, you need to thinking what you can design this one, because they have existing house already. So if you buy this land or this site, you can thinking about the design for commercial shopping center, because a lot of residential right here, so they need to use something in here. So you can buy here for design for medical center or some kind of shopping center, serve it for the area, existing area. Number 3, develop cost and financial. Cost and finance is one of the main thing before you start to design. That's regard with the money, how much you pay for the cost, the site survey analysis, architectural engineer, and other fee for the cost, the market, the needs for the cost. So that's why many things. And usually one private company, they have one department for financial or marketing. They looking for the job around in the country or outside from the country, and after that they plan for the cost and deposit for all of them, or financial for whole of the company. Without financing, nothing can be built. So remember like that. Two type financial we can use right now is equity funding and the debt funding. So you know that's the debt, that means you need to repay plus interest. And equity funding, maybe you can use some kind from the property, from the equity you have already, and you just loan something more. The clients, the owner or borrower, they need money to pay for the charge in the process building, and after that they also need to thinking or plan about financial. A lot of government projects, they have a federal, state, city or county government support for that, or they give some loan with very low interest. But a lot of the projects, we need to borrow money and you need to loan money before you start to design. Even non-commercial or non-profit institution, the funding come from many resources. They can come endowment, they can come from donation, they can come from the rent, the sale or marketing. But basically, no financial, nothing for can build or construction. Some of the project you can see like museum or performing arts center, civics building or religious structure, education, they are built without the mortgage financing. Maybe they have the funding from government, so that's why they don't need to loan from for financial. So money is the first and also is something we need to do for the projects. Design and design approval. Before you start everything, architect must concern with the completion factor, detail program requirements, site condition, construction budgets, and after that zoning, building codes, and they need to follow everything like life safety provision, everything for community service. And after that they go with final approval or the permits. And all of the service like this is from the agency, we call that government agency, that means the city, that the small unit from the government. So that's why before you apply for that, you need to do a lot of things. After you got the final and you have approval, you got the permits, and you start to build the one you applied for. So many things you can increase density or the land use or the building height. After that for the parking and more things. So this is we need to do for the new projects associated with the change from this one. Few of the projects, they call that the public school or some of the historic resort dislike, they don't like the proposed architecture. So before you start to do something, you need to apply and you need to finish the drawing from from everything, from design, the pre-design, and construction document. After that you submit for the city. Take maybe 1 month for get the approval. After you get approval or the permit, and you can start to construction. Engineer and other consultant, like I told you, when one project coming and finished, they need a lot of people working on. The first one architect, after that you need to have another people concerned with this one, especially engineer. For example, mechanical engineer, structural engineer, plumbing engineer or electrical engineer. More than that, interior design, landscape design, something like that. So that's why one project, even small or big, one of the people cannot finish everything. We need to work with another people, and we call that consultant to do for that one. Landscape people take care outside from the building, interior take care inside from the building, and we need some more people for electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. So that's why we have many people work at the same projects. These are some examples. It's very interesting. This one from Singapore. This one from of the yard design. I like it. It's in university, and you see some concrete bench to use for the student can stay here, the lecture or the music can in here. So this one is outside, and it's a very good shadow around. So I think this one very good corner for the student. This one some of special design for the theater. You can see that's many level, but each of the people, even they stay here or they stay lower level, they can hear 100% from the stage because they have special insulation around the wall and the ceiling. Consultant, like I told you, many people working on. And if you see architecture and engineer, they usually put A-E. It stands for architect and engineer. They work together for the projects, and we start from, many people. Like I told you, architect, landscape architect, interior design, structure engineer, urban planner, mechanical, electrical, civil engineer. That's a lot of people working on the same project. Right now, we use a lot of technology for internet, and after that telecommunication, for we can remote architecture service from. So that's why many people, they just need to use online. They can order to design, they can finish everything online. And if you compare with maybe 20 years before, everything we do on the table, manufacture and you draw by hand, submit by everything by draw by hand and finish everything like that. Brokers and attorneys, like another major architecture, we need some people. The private company, they need the broker attorney for each company, so they can do many legal work for the company. They serve it for the company. Construction contractor and management. This one is some people work after the project is finished already or get the permit already, and now go back with the construction contractor or construction manager. They will continue with the phase for construction. So that's why at that time they go with maybe general contractor, and after that it depends. We can hire the subcontractor to do with the big projects, or they start with many different kinds of material. They report and we select the best one. Value engineer, VE, is the team search for anything and everything that can be acceptable, eliminate, change, and reduce inequality to save money. So we have the value engineer is the people, they have the high quality and they have the low cost. Every client, when they come to ask you for design, they always would like to have very best or quality design, but they need very low cost, and they can compete. They can, compare with another people, another architects. They figure out which one is cheaper, and they do this one. The first one, they need the low cost, and the second one, they need the quality design, and the last one is short term, because if the short time, they can build in fast, and after that they can save the labor. CM usually call for construction manager. The people, they manage on of the construction in the projects. They can negotiate with the architect, they can negotiate with the supplier or other people before they finish the projects. Role playing, it is some people from architect, they assume the role to develop and borrow from contractor and investor. So that's why I told you, architect is the people, they concern from A to Z from one project. They start from design, and after that they need to go with the final work for the for the construction when they done. User and community. User is all of the people can use your projects. Community is some people can share that one together. So that's why a lot of community citizens, they care a lot about architecture, how it look and function and fittings, because they need to look as overview for all of the location. So that's why they care about that one. If you're in the city, sometimes they had a meeting every week or every month about something happened with community around. So they have a lot of people in the meeting. They will let the idea, and after that, community citizen, they have the idea exactly good or bad, why and why. It depends on the people, how many people agree with that, and the projects can move forward. If not, we can have the appeal for that one. So that's it on of concern with the building process. It starts from design and work together with a lot of people and finish that. So this chapter you can see on the textbook, chapter 8. And also, like another chapter, we have a few questions you need to answer and email me before the due date weekend. For example, this week we start to read this one and another chapter. I need to see the email. You email me the answer from both lecture or one lecture before the weekend. Due date on the schedule, if I put due date is Thursday, so you can stay and you can email until Sunday. So basically I give you guys more time to do that. Thank you so much for watching, and I think that I hope to see you. I think that we have sorry I think that we have one more chapter. This is the lead, and after that we have quiz number 2. So same time with quiz number, same thing. Quiz number 2 is similar with quiz number 1. However, I give longer. 3 part I give longer. Fill in the blank. I have I guess it's around 25 to 30 questions. After that, true and false, same thing, 25 to 30 questions before we have training. And multiple choice, I have around 30 of them and around 15 in the textbook, similar like before you did. So now in quiz number 2, like I post already on I forgot the chapter I posted on, but the end from the chapter I give you one elevation for you can coloring, and if you submit for me before quiz day, and you can get 10 point extra credit for quiz number 2. Also I published on Happy Life True Life, for you can see one of the way how to calculate for plumbing fixture. I have the problem for that, also get 10 point for quiz number 2. So basically quiz number 2 cover on of the chapter before on of the chapter you before you learn from quiz number 1. It start from beginning until chapter 9 on a lecture 9 or class number 9. So now we continue with that after quiz number 1. So quiz number 2 will be cover on of the chapter after quiz number 1 until the chapter green lead. So we have maybe around 9 or 10 chapters in there. Quiz number 2 is on October 13th, and I will same thing, I will open as around 6:30 and end at the midnight. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.